We've been putting off a few projects like our kitchen table till we got the right tools. So we came to Dad's shop that has all the right tools. And we asked our brother carpenter, so we got the knowledge. Have you ever built a custom table from a tree? Well, we have. Back a few years ago, Nancy and I, with the help of my brother, made a table for our Winnebago travel trailer from the pecan wood from my grandparents' orchard. Since we were heading to our father's farm last winter, we knew we could build another one, even better for our motorhome.
This is outside Houston. I don't know how many miles outside of Houston.
The Mullins Family Farm is located 45 miles south of Houston on I-59 in Wharton County, where both of my parents are from.
Here we go. Buc-ee's. 12 miles. Gotta stop, because I gotta do Buc-ee's.
That's in Wharton. You can go to Buc-ee's anytime. Wharton.
But it may not be as big as this Buc-ee's.
It is this Buc-ee's. This is the Wharton Buc-ee's.
This is Wharton?
Yes,
We're in Wharton already?
Wharton.
Wow.
I'm Steve.
I'm Nancy. And together with
Mars the Blind Sheltie.
and Phoebe, the warrior princess, we are living our dream. Our goal, to travel the U.S. and Canada.
While spreading the messages taught to us by our pets of
Keep smiling, be kind,
and be happy. Join us on our travels by subscribing to our channel as we continue our great adventure. My great-great-grandparents owned this farm in Wharton County since the early 1900s, and it's been passed down over the generations. As of now, the farm has been split a few times, so I have a few cousins as well as my brother and father and their families that still live there. At one time, my great-grandparents grew potatoes. Mullins is an Irish name, by the way. It's still a working farm, but mostly for hay and cattle now. Grandma and Grandpa even had a pecan orchard for a while, till disease pretty much made that uneconomical. Now a lot of the pecan trees are coming down due to disease and our weather, but that means we can harvest them for woodworking, and we took great advantage of that while we were down. My dad never raised cattle till he retired. He's a petroleum engineer by trade. His cows finally came over for a visit one day. This bull really didn't want to be seen at first. Then he was giving me the eye, and I was grateful for the fence between us. It reminded me of the time my brother and I were driving the golf cart in the pasture, and my brother took a hard turn and left me in the dust with a couple of bulls. Yep, visiting the farm brought back plenty of memories. Then it was feeding time. They all went running in the pasture. They recognize when it's feeding time, just about as good as Mars and Phoebe do. My brother was a carpenter and a teacher, and he came down to help harvest some pecan trees, but he also brought a cedar tree he wanted to cut up. So before we could begin our woodworking projects, Kenny had to cut up some logs. I got a kick out of watching my brother give instructions to my dad on the tractor. I never knew how much went into trimming up a log to get ready to start cutting boards worth keeping. First you have to cut away the rounded edges on one side so you could sit the log flush into the mill. Then you could start cutting planks. And that one's a keeper. As you get towards the center of the log, you can then start cutting posts or whatever dimensions you need. Nancy and I took some of the cedar from the discarded pile to cut slats for our own camping table. Yep, this is discarded lumber. Nancy's wearing a sling because she fell off her scooter while visiting the grandkids in Greece. But that's another story. My brother had sawn up a few pecan trees the same way a few years ago. And those were all dried out, so we're going to use those for the table. You going to take that one? Okay, I'll
put those two back.
Yeah, I'll put those two back. I never knew how difficult it was to select raw lumber. Most have bows and soft spots, and you don't want those when making furniture. I'm really glad Kenny was there to help. Kenny also wanted to make sure the guides were lubed with graphite and used silicone paste on the table saw.
No, this is actually paste wax. So I made up this piece.
Oh. You need a clean edge, so you made a template. Then Kenny used a small jig he made to trim off the raw edges of the lumber, so you can get one edge straight. The goal here is to get the most wood from your cuts without defects or bowing. Before we started cutting, Kenny wanted to make sure the table saw was level. Then we had to clean out the dust vacuum system. Then we needed to cut the boards to the right length. The chop saw is great for this task, but sometimes the boards are just a bit too wide. No worries though, we just flip the board over and finish the cut. Yeah.
I'm always trying to use this much more.
I got you.
So I looked at this wood or this wood.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And I'm thinking this might be better. I don't know.
Okay, I thought we could come here, but we can't. We gotta.
It's not just an issue of measuring for your cut.
So,
Key to a beautiful table is to make sure you select the best grain patterns.
yeah.
Then it's a matter of cutting the boards to uniform width. After cutting the boards to the same length and width, the next step is to run one side through the joiner. The joiner is used to flatten one face and square up one edge, and the planer is then used to make the second face flat and parallel to the first.
But it looks like you want as much of this as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this is actually a softer wood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I've seen that before.
Then Nancy and I spent more than 30 minutes just laying out the boards and choosing the side and order for each board. So we had the best arrangement we liked for the final table, with my Tad and Kenny just looking on. This was one job Nancy and I had to do. After that, we then ran the edges through the joiner before gluing and clamping them up. You gotta love Dad's collection of clamps.
So where is it sitting?
After letting the glue dry overnight, it was then time to scrape the glue away. Once again, having the right tools made all the difference here.
That piece of metal. And you square this off real good with a file or something.
Yep.
And take a hard metal screwdriver, I guess, and curve that side.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And
It's got a bit of a bite to it.
then you bend it to where you're just getting right here in this curve. You're not scraping out anywhere, and you just run it down here.
So you're not really putting a gouge in it per se. It really is just that small little ledge, that shade in it. It's like a shade.
So you're just getting right here, just.
I mean, this looks like sawdust, like you're sanding it.
Yeah.
I even got a chance to try the scrapers on the backside. Then Kenny wanted to use the circular saw to cut the edges smooth before we attach the trim.
Huh?
Time to apply a finishing edge with the router.
Don't knock over my camera. Okay.
Then it was time to take out the old table and measure guides for the new one. Nancy and I then took turns applying the finish.
Using urethane. You don't want to, you want to dip in, pull it up and around, because you don't want it to just sit there and drip in the can, because that's what causes bubbles. As with everything, coats, thin coats are better than slopping on a ton of urethane. You don't want to do that.
Go. Hold. Go. Hope you enjoyed this video of our building our custom table. We really, really love it. And it's special because it's from the wood from my grandparents' farm. As always, keep smiling and be kind. Till next time, safe travels, everyone.